Hello folks! Welcome to the Poly Champions YouTube. Today you'll hear McGoon, a two-time bullet champion, talk us through this Bardur tiny map live game. You'll see why he chooses riders instead of archers, is able to snatch a ruin and a village from behind enemy lines, and keep his opponent's giants at bay. Let's watch the replay!
Hello, I'm McGoon. I've been playing Polytopia competitively for the past 2 years. I'm a pro member of the Dragons team. This is a replay of one of our latest bullet matches against Reaper, who is a pro Kraken player. I spawned in the east part of the map, fairly average spawn. So Reaper spawned up in the north. He's got 2 animals, 5 forests, which is quite good. So he takes animals to upgrade his capital, and he moves southwest
Southwest,
warrior.
towards the forest.
Yeah. I moved west towards the center of the map here. Reaper opts to train another warrior as well. I move north.
No village.
No village either. There is no village between us, which is quite unfortunate for me as I headed that way first, whereas Reaper did not, which gives him a slight advantage here.
So talk us through why you went for riding instead of maybe forestry.
At the moment, I don't know that Reaper isn't on a village, that he isn't about to get one. So my first warrior has no chance of getting a village. My second warrior, that's going to detour to a ruin first. So getting the rider gives me more movement. So I want to be able to get to the center and try and contest any village that you might get there. So I think that's why I went for the riding option rather than an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
You get a warrior and archery. So he chopped his forest here, which means he's got 3 forests here, and they all meet in one sawmill position here. But that would suggest that he's planning to go for maths, rush that catapult and the sawmill to get the border growth he wants.
Oh, you got a swordsman.
Yes, I got a swordsman ruin. I'm not sure if you saw beforehand. I got forestry before taking the ruin.
Ah.
I think here I was hoping that maybe I'd get lucky and get like a mathematics ruin, which would be quite helpful. Maths is expensive. I'd rather not spend on it if I can get a ruin instead. It's his turn again. He gets maths for capturing his second city. Start by moving out to explore in the west. I want to find more villages. I want to get control of the center. I want to clear the fog as soon as possible, so that I know what needs to be done with my riders. So we see upgrades his second city down here, moves his units forwards, and trains another archer. So yeah.
So at this moment, it's clear to both players that there's no center village, so to speak. Like oftentimes in a tiny map, there is a village and a city in the middle, and so much, of the tiny map depends on controlling that center city. But what do you think about this map, right?
Yes, there is quite a large empty area around the middle here. I think here is working to my advantage as I have riders, which gives me more range than him. He has warriors and archers, they can only move 1 tile a turn. So it takes him twice as long to get across this gap to attack me. So at the moment, I'm quite liking this as I can cover the distance more quickly, and therefore I can attack and defend quite easily here. Whereas he quite slow for him to advance against me. He does have the defense bonus, which is obviously helping him a lot. But yeah, I have the range that he is lacking at the moment. So I'm quite liking the map so far.
And you attacked with your swordsman, and then you're going to finish with the rider?
Yes. So here, I moved the swordsman first, fine, but I had the rider in range. I can see the city here, and I don't know if he's got a unit on it or not. If there's not a unit there, the rider can use its bounce, so it can move on to the city. And I can only see one archer nearby, so that's not enough to kill a rider. So if there's nothing on that city, I'd be able to take it for myself, which with the sword in backup would be enough to secure that for mine as mine. I kill it, and I see there's an archer there, which
Yeah.
is
So you cannot bounce in and siege.
yes, I cannot siege. Not a big deal, as the rider can move out of range of his archer, which is fine. I move my other riders forwards so that they can better position to attack. I'm careful to stay out of range of his warrior. He moves forwards. You can see my capital. Fair enough. He opts to retreat this rider, or archer,
Yeah.
rather than attack my swordsman, which is good for him as he doesn't know if I've got climbing yet. So
Mm.
if he stayed nearby and attacked my swordsman, there's a risk that he would lose his archer.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that I have riders already,
Yeah.
as he saw them last turn. So he'll be watching for any sort of bouncing action or well anything else that might result in me sieging or killing extra units that didn't need to die yet. Um, so yeah, he upgrades his second city. There we see him
Yes.
upgrade his capital for the board growth, which I was mentioning earlier. He he wants to get all these populations, all these forests into his capital so he can get the giant early.
And it also gives him control over that terrain, a little bit more of a buffer between you, that your
Yes,
riders can't, right? I mean, it's a little bit of a buffer.
yes, that is true. Um, yes, I cannot use roads in his territory. So while it's not an issue yet, as he cannot see any roads, but he knows I have riders, so me getting roads is a reasonable next step. So I've retreated two riders I hit with into my city so they can heal next turn.
Org?
I,
Oh, you got org. Yeah.
I got organization before capturing the city, but I only have 5 stars. So I opt to chop one of these trees to get me up to 6, which allows me to upgrade that city. Up here, we see he gets a sawmill
Yeah.
and he starts getting more lumber huts
The
to
giant is
upgrade to it.
coming.
Yeah.
So, but
He
he,
gets his giant.
yeah. And he
He
chops.
does, yes, he chose to chop his excess forest. He uses the stars to upgrade. He gets a sawmill and uses his monument in his second city.
Oh, he takes border growth.
If you use all 4 forests,
Yeah,
he
he
has
can.
enough to upgrade his second city next turn for a giant.
Yeah.
And more importantly, he has 1 star left over and his capital produces 7. So he will have enough stars to upgrade it if I sieged it, in case I get roads and are able to kill both
Mm.
his archers. So
So he's
it's
thinking he's going to get sieged, and this way he knows he has insurance to get a giant in the second city, with the eight
yes,
stars.
yes, exactly. I move in with my swordsman and then move my right around to follow. So now I'm thinking that he has deliberately upgraded his city last turn.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that he can unsiege somehow.
Yeah.
He knows that he can. Now I have the option, do I want to leave my swordsman here on the city where it will either die or be pushed away?
Or you can attack
Or,
one of the archers.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
because originally I was planning to attack with the rider first, and then I can bounce onto the city, because at the end of the day, sieging does remove his stars.
Right.
So,
Right. You still deny him income if you have a unit in there.
so now I choose to go to the ruin next rather than sieging, because I'm thinking he's going to get a giant anyway, so I cannot take the city. I could take the ruin from him. Whatever the ruin result is, it will probably help me more than denying Reaper 5 stars for the city that I won't even be able to capture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Upgrade my
Yeah.
life back, and here I go for a board growth
Yes.
on this city. And then I choose to chop these front two forests, because I know he's got the defense bonus on his warriors. And I'm not sure if you saw, but I chose to move this warrior here. I moved it towards the border.
You thought there might be a
I was,
ruin back there?
yeah, but it doesn't look promising yet. I'll check this last tile, but that's not likely. Much more likely that the last ruin is down in the south.
Right.
We do see that he starts to upgrade his city now to get that giant that I was fearing. So I won't be able to take this city anytime soon anymore. He opts to move on to the fruit, as far as he knows, that may be something that I was planning to use to get the giant in my capital.
Right.
As
He wants to prevent you from getting a giant.
yes, yes, well, he gets another archer on his capital. He had the stars left, and a giant on its own isn't. It's unlikely to be able to take a city. Now it's my turn again. It's population ruin, which is quite helpful for me, as that means I can get the giant for much, much less. I don't need to get another tech yet. Uh, I've moved forwards to attack his archer here. I could get the hit, and I don't take too much retaliation damage. So that just confirms that I will be able to get this village, or at least makes it more likely. So I move forwards again, keeping my. He doesn't have many units at the moment, so I'm trying to keep my riders close to his city. I think I'm saving up for maths here. I want maths as that gets me the giant here. It also gets me a second giant if I place my monument in my capital too. So it's Reaper's turn again. He has 14 stars to use. He moves his giants forward, trying to keep on the forests, get the defense bonus, make him harder to kill, obviously. Um,
But now
he
he's
shoots.
left his warrior in there, and like you said, you can use 3
Yes,
riders to siege.
I'm not sure. I don't think he could have done much else, to be honest. He needs to get more units. He only has 2 cities, while I have at least 2, you can see. Probably 3, as I've got quite a few units. But he knows he needs to get more units, otherwise he will get swamped with riders, warriors, whatever I can throw at him. So now it's my turn again. I have 25 stars here. I choose to get climbing, which gives me this ruin in the south, we saw earlier. It also lets me use my warrior and riders onto these mountains. So I siege with my 5 HP rider, as I can see he doesn't have an archer in range at the moment, so he has to use his giant on siege, and that can kill a 10 HP or a 5 HP rider in one hit. Move my units, and there's the maths for the
Yeah.
giant. So now I have the giant to defend myself from his.
Yeah, and
He does have the archer.
I remember this, he had to move his giant back to unsiege, and I thought, oh,
Yes,
that's such a, like, that was a smart move on your point because it forces his hand to move his giant back.
Yes, because I want to keep his giant as far away from my city as possible.
And now
Even if he has.
you are positioned to take that village, which I thought was just so interesting
Yeah.
because it's, again, you snuck a rider behind enemy lines and he can't prevent you from getting that village.
Yes. So a village behind his lines, as I said earlier, it is very useful. It prevents him from getting catapults in the back, as I'd just be able to send a rider out and weaken them immediately. So having that immediate access to his cities is very powerful. I don't think I'm going to keep that city because it's isolated. There's 4 tiles between it and my next city.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
When you think of the best tribe in the game, what comes to mind? Yes, that's right, Bardur. Think of beautiful snowy forests roaming with fat bears. Bardur is a T0 tribe which can upgrade the capital on the first turn. Quick access to forestry gives lumber huts for population or chop for quick cash. Rated #1 tribe 3 years in a row in the IMO Times. Try Bardur for free today and see your elo skyrocket. The conditions apply. Limited time offer. Not subject to nerf, server errors, or mishaps. Riders shown are professional bear riders on a closed course. Do not try this at home. Riding bears can result in personal injury and/or death. And Bardur tribesmen are not liable for personal harm. Make this season your Bardur season.
Yeah, he moves his giant forward. He's still trying to threaten my capital, force me to divert units there rather than attack his second city more, which is fair enough. It's my turn. But we're in again, population ruin.
I saw
So
this. I'm like, you gotten 2 population ruins, and it's a free giant, right? It's just a gift of a giant.
yes, yeah, that's a big advantage. As you said, it gets me the second giant for basically for free. So yes, I get giant. Now that pushes towards the center.
That's so cool. The
Yes,
giant push attack.
yes, it was very fortunate for me. Um, yes, if we continue on, I place my ruin down in the
The monument.
southern city.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sorry, the monument. And then I capture this city up. So if we see down here, I finish off upgrading this city. I get border growth and 2 riders, I think it was down there.
So you decided
Yes,
not to upgrade that new city.
yes, I chose not to upgrade it because my options were spend stars upgrading that or get more units elsewhere. So I could upgrade it, but I can see he's got a rider on his city and he has archers. So I'm not thinking that city's going to last very long. So spending stars upgrading it would be a bit of a sink. It would waste my stars and just ultimately upgrade a city that's going to be his. He's bought roads, he's moved his right forwards, so he's attacking that city now, which fortunate I didn't upgrade it because if we remember, I've only got 1 unit near here,
Yeah.
only 1 rider, so I can't unsiege.
You cannot unsiege.
So yes. Here we see he's retreated his giant because he's at disadvantage, and he's now against 2 giants. Continue on. He moves his giant forwards again and trains more riders, and another warrior down here. You can't see any units nearby now, so maybe it's safe to train a unit there, and he won't get sieged. I hit his rider up here, deal the damage where I can, and then I chop the 3 forests.
Yeah, we were looking at that and we're like, oh yeah, time for sabotage.
The city is basically useless to him now, but it is 3 extra population that he can get there, which is useful for him. He needs the extra units that he can get from that. And yes, what else do I do? I attack his archers, get the damage in, and Down here, we see I'm getting a giant, which is I can actually afford another giant down here, I think. I guess I don't see that at the time. So, and even if I did get the giant, it would push mine into range of his. So he'd be able
Right.
to get the attack in,
Yeah.
which
No.
I was able to take advantage of earlier, and I don't want him doing the same to me. So now, yeah, I just move my riders in and heal them. He opts to move his archers back, which is fair enough. He wants to keep them safe. He doesn't want them to die. He shoots my giant again, and he captures this village. That means he's not planning on getting any tech. He makes a road here to move his warrior over to this corner because he remembers that I had a
Yes.
rider until the last turn.
He knows there's a rider in the fog over there somewhere.
Yes, he's looking for that rider, so he's going to go find my rider and kill it. Or try to. My rider survived because it was on a mountain and had the defense bonus, which was useful. Yes, what else does he do? He connects his capital and uses a road to move his archer to kill it. Which protects this city and means he can get upgrades there. I then move on to the mountain to get vision on the rest of his capital. I'm not expecting to see any units or anything there. I'm looking to see what population he has left to get in his capital. So can he get another giant very easily? So I see that he's got 3 fruit and, as you said, 2 mountains with metal in them. So the city's only produced 1 giant so far. So it needs 6 population to upgrade again. And he has used roads since getting the giant. So it only needs 4 population actually to upgrade. Currently, he doesn't have climbing. We know this because he attacked last turn and wasn't able, and his unit didn't end on the mountain. So I know he doesn't have climbing yet, so he can't see the metal. So getting climbing to try and unsiege, that's a gamble that he may not want to take. I'm thinking he probably can get a giant if he needs to. It might be expensive, as we can only see 3 fruit. I'm not sure if there's a 4th or a forest in the back that he might be able to use.
Yeah.
But currently, it's on the cards. I then get a catapult in my southern city. I have all these units nearby, so I can deal quite a lot of damage to his giant next turn in case he does get the does choose to leave. I have 3 stars left, so I get a rider in my capital. We see that he does, in fact, have enough resources to get another giant in his capital. 3 fruit and the forest gave him the giant. He used that pushes his warrior downwards. We see that he moves his giant back onto the forest. That's to try and keep it out of range of my units and keep it defended. He trains a catapult in the back. So he's thinking that I'm going to move my giant forwards and siege. He's trying to plan to avoid that. I connect my cities up using roads and use the road and other population to push my catapult forwards into the center. The new giant pushed it forwards, and then I can use that to hit his giant, which he just retreated, or weaker. Here we see I used a road to move my rider forwards to attack his archer. This is because at this point, I'm not sure if he's able to kill my giant or not if I move it forwards. So I could siege with the giant, but if he can kill it, then I'm at a disadvantage again. He has a giant and I don't. So I choose to siege with a rider to take away the stars, but also to make sure that my giant is still healthy, protected. Let me see, I kill the warrior. clear some more fog, move other units forwards. I heal this rider because I could move it to one of these tiles here, but it would still be in range of his giants, and it doesn't really help that much treating that rider. So it's his turn again. The first thing he'll do is look to unsiege. He uses his rider to unsiege so he can train a unit there if he wants it. He uses his catapult to attack my giant. And against what I thought earlier, he was able to upgrade this city again. He used the sawmill and the last fruit. We see that he rode his archer forwards to attack my catapult. So he's trying to make me retreat the catapult and heal it back in the cover of my cities. And here we see I'm moving my giant onto the mountain, get the defense bonus. You also see that I move the rider closer to his city. That's because these forests are preventing me from moving straight in from far away. I want to be able to move into a city so that I deny him stars for stars. Because this turn he didn't have to train a unit there because I couldn't get anything through the forest siege, whereas now he has to train a unit there, otherwise I'll be able to move the rider in. We saw down here, I used my catapult to kill his archer, but that does leave me a bit exposed to his rider that he can move down using roads to attack and kill my catapult. But I do still have this other giant, which I can move forwards to block the access to my city and my catapult. So that is now protected. I did sacrifice a rider or two against his giant to again deal damage, force him to retreat and heal. Giants take a long time to heal and they are finite. You cannot get infinite numbers of giants, so he wants to preserve his as much as possible. I have better giant potential than him at the moment, so he's going to want to protect and preserve his giants as best as possible. Here we see he moves his catapult up into safety, so I can't easily attack it. He also moves the rider up here. That's so he can heal it in relative safety. So I hit his giant. I'm going to go for the kill here if I can. I think we see now I just missed out. It's got 2 health left. I didn't quite manage to kill it.
So close.
What I should have done was move onto the city and attack from there, because that would guarantee that I can get the siege needed. I retreat what riders I can into my territory so that I can heal them more easily. Here we see I move my giant into his city as he only has 2 giants nearby. That's not enough to kill a sieging giant.
Can he pop another giant though? He has 2 mines and a fruit. 2 fruit.
He has 3 fruit and
yeah.
he does have 2 mines, but this giant it's still on the mountain,
yes.
so he cannot use that mine.
Yes.
So again, even if he could see the mines, which he can't at the moment because he doesn't have climbing, he can't use that mine. So I'm currently thinking he can't pop another giant here. I heal my giant. I'm not planning to move it, so that's fine. I want to block the metal in the mine. And we see down here, I upgrade this small city population. I don't think the city can actually upgrade for a giant yet. I'd need mining, but 1 extra star per turn and the extra population slot. Because if you see, I am close to filling up all of my cities. I've only got 4 slots left. So every slot is going to help me.
Yeah.
He hits with his giants, but cannot kill it. So that city is going to be mine. He gets more catapults and try to take the city back, but we know that with my 3 catapults and my giant, he won't be able to get a secured siege there.
Well, and it's interesting because he got a defender in his capital, but with your rider and your giant, that defender isn't strong enough to hold it.
Yes, I think at this point he's just trying to find any way that he can to push me back. And now it's my turn again.
Yeah, and
I
there it
siege his
was.
capital.
Yeah.
Yes, I've killed most of his supporting units. I've taken his second city. At this point, I think he resigns up here.
Yeah. So, what do you think were the key moments? To me, you were very fortunate in that you got all 3 ruins, and 2 of them were population ruins. Again, that was
Yes,
a very fortunate move. And I also think just the way the map was laid out without that center village that you usually see in a tiny map, it really changed the dynamics in that you got riders and he got archers. But having riders with that kind of gap in the middle, I think, was also an advantage. What do you think?
yes, definitely having riders with a gap, that was a big help for me. Archers weren't able to use that as well. The lack of the center city, I think that was a bit unfortunate for me. Riders, they can reach the center more quickly, and they're better at controlling it compared to archers. Archers are more defensive. They can be used very effectively in defense, but against riders, not so well. Um, so I think the lack of the center city did bad. It was more of a negative for me than a positive. But as you said, the rest of the map was very much in my favor. I got 3 ruins, as you said. 2 of them were on my side, and 1 was on his side, but he wasn't able to get it, unfortunately. You can also see that my city, I actually have one right next to my capital, whereas his closest city is 3, 4 tiles away. That's a big distance. That gave me a big advantage early on. It's also worth mentioning that his second city was not too far away from mine. I was able to put pressure on that very quickly, so he wasn't able to make use of it, train more units early on.
I noticed Reaper is hanging in the voice chat. Reaper, do you want to comment at all?
Hello. I was really sad to like see my villages were so far away initially, and then because archers are really only effective when you're trying to grab that city that's kind of close to you, and like you and your opponent are fighting over. But unfortunately for us, well, of course my center was I had mountains, and I couldn't really exactly reach the center immediately, really at all. Whenever I did capture my C2, that veteran swordsman, like it just drained all of my stars. And I think that's probably what just like set me far behind because with McGoon getting 3 of the ruins, because I was forced to try and get units all game, just trying to defend because my C2 was so close to McGoon cities because his cities weren't as far away as mine, right? Mine were 3 or 4 tiles away. His were kind of fairly linked, as long as he found that village in the southeast side of the map. But overall, I think it was a good game. I'm not quite sure what I could have like done differently. Uh, like I felt like I played pretty well. Like maybe go riders instead of archers, but like I really couldn't tell. Like initially, like I met him early on, and I thought village close by. But that like wasn't the case. So it was just extremely like a rare circumstance, and I kind of got punished for going archery there. But yeah, no, it was a great game.
All right. Well, thanks so much for doing this with me, McGoon. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. For Poly Champions games with skilled players and expert commentary, click the links in the description. Join the Poly Champions Discord server. Ask questions there. Get on a team. The Discord link is also in the description. Take care. See you in the next one.